Hey guys, Jackdaw here. Today we're seizing the Dragon Age drought and discussing the major lore drops in the first issue of Dragon Age Dark Fortress. That's right, we have brand new Dragon Age content to talk about, and I am here for it all. The first issue of the seemingly final, hopefully not, Dragon Age comic landed, and we've got plenty of lore to dissect. Even if you've read this issue for yourself, I guarantee you I've spotted a few things that you've probably missed. With that said, let's delve straight into breaking things down in the first issue of Dark Fortress. The timeline. Dragon Age Dark Fortress started with one of Sir Aaron's memories, depicted as a nightmare. He had a flashback to the Battle of Ostagar 15 years ago in 931 Dragon. The exact moment Loghain ordered a retreat alongside his most trusted lieutenant, Sir Corfreen. Of course, this event was witnessed in Dragon Age Origins. Sir Aaron was a warden among Loghain's army who ran into the battle to attempt to save his king. The present-day narrative of Dark Fortress is set in 946 Dragon. That's 2 years after Trespass's events, when the Exalted Council was put together and the Inquisition was either disbanded or reforged, essentially when the canon timeline ended. Therefore, we assume the comic's narrative is the furthest in the Dragon Age timeline so far. However, this is where it gets complicated. You see, the comic writers were asked on Tumblr about Tevinter Knights' place in relation to the comic's timeline, considering the significance and plot potential of both narratives, and also Veya's cameo in one of Tevinter Knights' stories. Nunzio de Philippus and Christina Weir replied, with Tevinter Knights being an anthology, it doesn't have one firm location in the timeline. It varies based on which story you're looking at. For example, Herald Had the Plan takes place between Knight Errant and Deception, but the Dreadwolf Take You is likely after all our comics are done, so post Dark Fortress. So unfortunately, there's not one clear place to put that anthology on your shelf. It may be best to put it directly before or directly after the run of comics. So while there's no clear indicator on the canon timeline at the moment, it is very interesting that the Dreadwolf Take You is likely post Dark Fortress. This will certainly make more sense later on once I touch on the Red Lyrium idol and Magister Nenelius's plan. If you've read Tevinter Knights, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But for the moment, consider these comics largely pre-Tevinter Knights. Neromenian. Since their last venture in the Arlathan Forest outside of the Qunari invaded city Corastus, Sir Aaron, Veya, Fenris, Marius, Tessa, Francesca, and of course Autumn the adorable Mabari headed further south on the hunt to reach Castellum Tenebris, the dark fortress that is home to House Danarius. The stronghold recently acquired the Red Lyrium idol along with this new Lyrium sarcophagus. The gang decided to stop by in the Tevinter city known as Neromenian. Fenris knew that Danarius' goods came to port at the city. His servants would go to market and return to the fortress later on, even after Danarius' death. Fenris deducted that the Castellum must have a new secret passage. If the gang used the main entrance, they'd be shot on sight as the castle has only one way in, a lone bridge. In order to find any leads or loyal servants of House Danarius, the group searched the city. The Magisters and the Red Lyrium idol. Meanwhile, Castellum Tenebris is an impenetrable fortress stood on heavy rocks overlooking the Notion Sea. Magister Nenelius and Professor Marquette arrived, greeted by Magister Danarius' half-blood son, known to Nenelius as Danarius the Lesser. Danarius inquired about Magister Invidus' whereabouts. Nenelius responded and stated that Magister Invidus was only required for his knowledge on Red Lyrium. After he shared his understanding on how to use this Lyrium sarcophagus with Red Lyrium, he was no longer needed for this ritual to imbue Shiralis with Red Lyrium tattoos. It is probably for the best he was no longer needed for this ritual, considering he was brutally killed by his daughter Francesca with green vine magic. Each of the Venatori shared further on this ritual and using Red Lyrium. When using this sarcophagus with regular Lyrium, plenty of magic is needed for the ritual. However, when using Red Lyrium, the ritual requires more power, to which Danarius responded by opening opening a door and revealing something that will ensure this ritual will work and have enough power to imbue Shiralis. But what is it? What exactly is supplying this ritual with insane power? Is it a red Lyrium dragon, considering the cover of the next issue? Is it a Tevinter orb, a creepy Tevinter sea monster, an elven artifact, a bunch of slaves to be used as blood magic? We don't know, but I'm sure we're going to find out in the next issue. Regardless, this ritual was planned for the same night. Danarius inquired further about Magister Qunari's whereabouts without knowing his fate. The real Magister Qunari died with no heirs. Instead, Gaius, a former elven slave and a working agent of Fen'Harel, impersonated as Magister Qunari for years. As Qunari, Gaius traded a weapon imbued with red Lyrium stolen from Kirkwall, the infamous red Lyrium idol. Gaius traded the idol to House Danarius for information. This exchange is something that his master, Solas, disapproved of. However, that doesn't matter because Gaius was killed by the invading Qunari during the siege at Ventus. It's interesting that Danarius didn't know of this, considering the idol was sent to his house. However, I'm assuming Nenelius was the one who made this exchange, or perhaps Danarius just didn't know of Qunari's death. Regardless, Marquette mentioned further about the red Lyrium idol that was sent to House Danarius. Nenelius recovered the idol and crafted a brand new sword from it. The Dreadwolf Take You short story in Tevinter Nights explored the red Lyrium idol's incomplete journey. It was taken from Meredith's corpse, then it was sold to an agent of Fen'Harel masquerading as the head of House Qunari, which was then sold to House Danarius. Then another mage from House Danarius, most likely a servant, took the idol to the Mortalitasi in Navarra. If Nenelius and the other Venatori still have this idol in their possession, then clearly this mage hasn't taken the idol to Navarra yet, and this is yet to happen in the timeline, which clears things up a bit on how these Magisters have the idol before it ends up in an absurd ritual that summoned the Dread Wolf, and then its location gets a little confusing to say the least. Also, the servant who took the idol from House Danarius in the Dreadwolf Take You spoke of his master meeting some misfortune. Is that foreshadowing for Danarius the Lesser's death, or is this servant's master another different Magister? Will we see this servant in a future issue, or is that story exclusively for Tevinter Nights? Anyhow, with that fully explored, I'm sure you can hear the tinfoil popping off in the background. Magister Nenelius used the red Lyrium idol to create a brand new separate red Lyrium imbued sword that will supply the sarcophagus to not only transform Shiralis, but after the ritual, Shiralis will be armed with the sword as well. Surely he will be an absolute unit. As both Shiralis and the red Lyrium imbued sword grow in power, the Venatori will conquer the Qunari from Tevinter and retake all of Phaedus' lands that have been lost over time. They plan to restore the majesty of the Imperium. For further clarity on the red Lyrium idol, the comic writers added that the idea behind the idol is that it can make multiple swords, not just Meredith's certainty. As I've already explained, the sword that Shiralis will use has been newly made by Nenelius. Danarius the Lesser. Danarius the Lesser was reduced to nothing and called out as a bastard by Magister Nenelius, who claimed that this was his plan they were following. As of which, Danarius the Lesser decided to have a couple of drinks at an establishment in Neromenian. Tessa found him and told the rest of the gang, and then recalled a rumour about Danarius the Lesser. His real name was Tractus Danarius, a bastard son recently recognised and since moved to Castilium Tenebris. Fenris, having killed all of Danarius' heirs, vowed to kill Tractus. However, Vaya insisted that they needed to know where the secret passage was, and he's the perfect candidate. The gang found Tractus, Fenris fought him for a quick second, and then began to interrogate him in the most Fenris way possible, by putting his hand through him and disconnecting his arm from his body. Tractus very quickly revealed the hidden exit that's across the bridge and open from the inside. Tractus revealed to the group that the ritual would begin tonight, as the Qunari Antam began to invade Neromenian. Instead of killing him, the group left Tractus to be discovered by the Qunari. Qunari Invasion. Following their successful conquests of Ventus and Grastus, the Qunari Antam set siege on Neromenian, the next eastern Tevinter city to be invaded by the Qun. Fortunately, the gang managed to escape the Qun's grasp without any wounds, no doubt headed to Castilium Tenebris to stop the Magisters' ritual. However, the Qunari ransacked Neromenian, slaughtering many innocents and preparing to re-educate their children. The Antam discovered Tractus Danarius, still alive, stuck to a chair. They questioned him and learned that a forbidden ritual using an ancient magical device was underway tonight at a dark fortress on the cliffs. The Qunari Antam decided to march to Castilium Tenebris. Their goals are to stop the ritual, seize the fortress, and kill every single person they encounter. And just like that, the first issue ends. What a bloody good, juicy, plot-worthy first segment to this conclusive narrative. I am so excited for the second issue and just to get all these final conclusions of this epic narrative that has been told since Knight Errant. Let me know your thoughts down below on this first issue. How excited are you for the next? And share your lingering questions down below. What do you think about the pieces of information revealed in this first issue? What is going to be used to power the sarcophagus? Will we see the Red Lyrium idol again? Do you think the Dread Wolf will have some involvement in this future narrative? Let me know all your thoughts down below. And why not check out my channel memberships if you'd like to join my very friendly Dragon Age Discord server and chat even more. I also have a few other perks to offer as well. Check out those tiers, link in the description down below, as well as my Patreon where I offer similar rewards. Until the next one, I have been Jackdaw and I should go. Whoa, 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 whoa.